Hi, I'm Brad Ross, Head of Communications with the TTC, and with me is Andy Byford, the CEO of the TTC. And we're here on King Street, just west of Jarvis, to talk about the King Street Transit Pilot Project, Andy. There is a problem with King Street. We have a solution. We'll talk about that in a moment. First, what is the problem that we need to address?
But 504 is the busiest streetcar route and the busiest surface route on the TTC. 65,000 customers a day. And the problem is that, as anyone knows who rides the King Street car, it gets hopelessly caught up in traffic in spite of our best efforts. So the status quo isn't working. It's a growing city, a busy route. We've got to do something about it.
The urban lore is that you can walk faster than the streetcar in some cases when you're in the downtown core because it's snarled in traffic.
Well, that's right. And of course, that's wrong. I mean, the whole point of public transit is it should be reliable, quick and effective. And the trouble is, any streetcar carrying 100, 150 people can be held up by one car turning left, and that causes the whole route to snarl up through the central section. So again, it isn't working. We need to take decisive action to improve this critical route for the TTC.
Okay, so that's the problem. What then is the solution? Starting on November 12th, we're going to have this pilot for 1 year that makes King Street a transit priority corridor from Jarvis to Bathurst. What is it going to look like? How is it going to work?
Sure. Well, it's all about making King Street work properly. So from Jarvis to Bathurst for a year, as you said, there will be no through traffic. Starting here at King and Jarvis, any cars approaching King and Jarvis going west will not be able to go straight through. They must turn left or right.
Likewise at Bathurst Street, coming in from the west, they'll have to turn right. Okay.
And then there'll be no through traffic. Coming from the north or the south, you'll be able to turn onto the route, but only go one block, and then you must turn right. There'll be no left turns. Streetcar stops will be moved to the off side. There'll be better public space, and there will be no through traffic other than the streetcars, emergency vehicles, and Wheel-Trans.
And then taxis after 10 p.m.
10
haven't
p.m.
been
to
given
5
that
a.m.
exception.
And deliveries. So, at the end of the day, we've got to be mindful of the impact on business. But the key point is, if you're wanting to use King Street, you can only go one block, and then you must turn right.
So what then are we saying to drivers in cars who typically would use King Street and now they won't be able to as a through street?
So, well, I mean, at the end of the day, we're hoping that those car users might consider using transit, but we understand that that's not an option for some people, and there's lots of good alternatives. To the north, you've got Richmond and Adelaide. To the south, you've got Front Wellington and Lakeshore. So as one of the metrics of this pilot, we will be measuring the impact of disbursement of traffic to make sure that doesn't have a disproportionate effect. But certainly the experience in other cities where such pilots have been undertaken, they've been very successful, and there has not been a ballooning in congestion.
What can then our customers expect with this change, who ride the King car and the Cherry 514 Cherry?
In a word, better service, because the streetcar will literally be able to get through more quickly. So you should see faster rides, more reliable rides, and less bunching and gapping, which is the curse of King Street, where just that one car turning left can hold up the whole route.
Of course, we'll be measuring all of this. We'll be looking at retail data to see the impact on businesses. But for it to be successful, there needs to be some enforcement of it to ensure that these changes are being adhered to.
Absolutely. Well, it can only work if people know what's going on, why we're doing it, and if they adhere to the rules. So certainly in the early days, we'll be working with our colleagues at Toronto Police, key intersections like here at King and Jarvis, to make sure, sensitively but effectively, to make sure that people know that you must turn left or right, and that in the central core, Jarvis to Bathurst, you've got to turn right after one block. It will be enforced.
So the enforcement piece, we're communicating that on the ground, but there's also other communications that we need to do in advance of the change and throughout.
Yep, sure. So radio ads, this video, on our website, ttc.ca, the city's website, on billboards, huge amounts of communication. This can only work if people know what we're doing and why we're doing it and what the new rules are.
All right, Andy, thank you very much. The TTC and the City of Toronto are putting people in transit first. To find out more about this pilot, which begins on November the 12th, go to toronto.ca/King Street Pilot.